What is up, everybody? I got a little explain to. It's let's see, almost 11 o'clock, and I've been outside for, I don't know, a couple hours. I got a little carried away. The goal for today is kind of go through the front end and lube it up and kind of figure out what we got to do next to make this thing drive a little better. I may or may not have completely disassembled this side, so you know, yeah, I got a little carried away, I guess. Needless to say, I'm opening up a can of worms. Let's go over the problems we had that I knew about, okay? You heard the clunk in the front end in the last video if you watched it, I'm sure. I believe that's coming from a couple places. For one, the idler arm, it's going to be impossible for me to really show you guys, but you can probably see that bushing. The bushings are completely blown out of it. So that's definitely a problem. The inner and outer tie rods, not horrible condition wise, but definitely old, which I have no reason to believe these aren't the original ones. I don't know if you'll be able to see in here. This bolt is tight, and I can, you see that? So I had the sleeve tight, but it is not actually tightening up on the inner tie rod there. So obviously that's a problem. The alignment was terrible. I don't know if everything just settled from the last time I was doing it, but it was way off. It was cambered out on the passenger side, or it had positive camber, I guess is what it would be, on the passenger side, negative camber on the driver's side. It was towed out like an inch, which is real bad. Yeah, a problem that I knew about that I just didn't address like I should have is this washer. Let me find one that's not messed up. You see how that washer's got flat spots in it? This washer's also supposed to have a flat spot in it, and that actually goes on your bolt through your control arm, and that allows you to adjust. That actually adjusts camber, caster. Technically it changes the toe also, but that's not generally your main source of toe adjustment. But besides that, other things that I knew that I just was too lazy to address is all these bushings are dry. They have no lubrication in their situation. All this is dry. I know that when this was put on the car, it was kind of a mock-up deal, and it was intended to come back apart before it got driven on. So that's just whatever. It's just, I should have done it before, but I need to get this thing on the road and get motivated. So that's what we did, and we survived. But basically it needs all new steering components, which I've been doing a little research on. It's gonna take me a little while. I gotta scrape up some pennies that aren't in the diaper fund. But yeah, that's kind of where we're at. It could also, this sits up here. The spring sits on it because of the way the suspension is in these cars, and it's pretty wore out. So could use a new one of those too. But I'm not too worried about that. But today, what we're gonna do, I knew I had at least one washer that was bad for the alignment bolts, or eccentric bolts, whatever you want to call them. So I wanted to get this tore apart and figure out how many I needed. And then I also got to go get lubrication for the situation. So I'll set you guys up somewhere and we'll just time lapse ripping that other side apart. And yeah, probably the next time I'll talk to you is after I get back from the auto parts store, because I've already talked too long. I gotta go. Gotta get some work done. I'm back. Well, I went to the auto parts store. Shocker, it was incredibly hard to figure out those bolts. These, I ended up finding it. I found it and found it on their website, and they're getting them for me. They should be there in a couple hours. I will put this kit is the it's made by CPP, and it's a mini subframe kit for the early Novas. I'll put the part numbers of what I found either on the screen or below. I ended up finding a Moog part number for those, which Moog is pretty commonly carried at most auto parts stores, so way easier to find than the CPP part number. So anyway, those should be there in an hour and a half or so. I picked up, I don't know, this is probably the wrong stuff, but this is it's brake grease, but it's silicone based, which is what I think you need for the bushings that are in this. I don't know what they're made of, but I'm assuming it's polyurethane, and if you Google polyurethane bushing grease, it says to use pure silicone grease. This stuff, they are insanely proud of it. This was like 24 bucks with tax and everything, which is ridiculous. I did not know that until he rang it up, and I about fell over. But what are you gonna do, I guess? So I'm going to I need to pull this upper arm apart so I can get to these bushings. I don't know if it showed up in the time lapse. I took the other side apart. Let me show you what it looks like when you take it apart. Hang on. Old man noises. So this is obviously the arm without that center section. This is that center section. These ends, I guess kind of obviously go through the bushing, and they actually have flat spots on them that index in the end of this. And then there's just these Allen bolts that go in there. So I'm gonna take some time and clean everything up a little bit, which I don't normally do, but I got some time to kill. So we'll sorry, I know the light is terrible. It never stops raining in Tennessee, so it's somewhere between pouring rain and bright sun all day. But I'm gonna get everything cleaned up, and then I'll probably show you guys when I grease up and reassemble one side. I'm not going to show you both because that would be pretty repetitive. Okay, I figured I'll show you how this comes apart. We're going to grease it. I kind of wiped all this stuff down the best I'm going to, so it is what it is. This is, the other side was red Loctited together. I'm sure this is the same. So luckily I had an Allen key 3/8 drive, and we put it on the big dog impact. Well, it's like a medium dog, but it's the biggest dog I got. So and just like that, the other one I actually had to beat this sleeve out of it. So I'm not quite sure why that one came apart so easy, but not gonna complain. You do have to try and hold this center part so it doesn't spin, but no big deal. And there's it's really way more torque than a Allen key should have, probably. Sleeve, and then this just comes out of there. And yeah, I'm just gonna clean this up, throw some of my super high dollar grease in here, and then I think I'm gonna start putting everything back together, and then we can swap those bolts out when I get them. I think is my plan for now, so I don't have to sit around and wait on them, because I only got so much time. We got a lot to do, so. Slide that right in there. The main reason, I don't think I really mentioned it, but when I was driving this thing, I noticed the suspension was kind of like, it was, you could like lift it or push it down and it would just stay. And it's got brand new shocks on it, and it should have plenty of spring. So the only thing I can think is that all this stuff being dry is just bound up. There could be something else bound up, I'm sure, but I'm hoping that just lubricating all of this will get me by. Hopefully more than get me by, actually. Like I said, I don't want to have to take this back apart if I don't have to. Okay. It is important, I guess, to make sure that these seat all the way, because if they're not seated here, that means they didn't go into the receiver on this end. So keep that in mind. I gotta get some Loctite. We're gonna ooga dooga these things back in there, and then start bolting them back together. Oh, even found us a little red Loctite. So, oh god, that was too much. When you're using Loctite, you don't need a lot. Just a dab will do ya. I'm sure there's a torque spec on this. We're not going to use it. As tight as it was coming apart, I'm going to guess that tight is tight. Seems right. Couple ooga doogas there. Couple ooga doogas there. We should be good to go. And that. I also did not mention I greased all the ball joints, at least the ones that I could, that didn't have torn boots. Did I say U-joints or ball joints? I don't remember. If I said U-joints, I meant ball joints, and if I said ball joints, that's what I meant. You know. These just, Obviously don't have any directions, so I don't know what the correct order of operations is here, but we're just gonna make it up as we go. And get grease all over our hands. That's fine. Everything's fine. There was no shims in this before, so we're gonna leave it with no shims in it. Right, wrong, or indifferent. Hammer. Right, you know, go. Right, you know, go in your home. Okay, now we need impact. This is a 5/8 for this, and I'm just gonna be on the inside of the engine compartment with the 11/16 holding the nut, and we're just, you know, ooga doogas. In case you're worried that I was just ramrodding that together, the nuts on the back are locking nuts, so they're actually like the all metal locking nuts. So there's no like gently threading them together. You gotta just let it ride. See anything down there? Maybe. I also I wire wheeled the inside of the pocket where the lower control arm goes. Just because I don't want to tear these bushings up. It was kind of rough in there, so it should just make it move a little easier. We're just gonna grease this up real good like. I'm hoping I can just slide this in place and it kind of stay. And then when we get the new bolts, we'll just slide those in it. But probably will not go that smoothly if I had to guess. There's about $18 worth of lubricant on there now. So try to slide this in place somehow. It's gonna be a pain. Come on. Get in there. Oh, there we go. We're getting it. Oh yeah. We're in there. Wonder if we can start a bolt. No? If we get one bolt in it, at least we know it won't fall. Right? Sounds good. In theory. Okay. Steel hammer. Why you? Oh, there it goes. Okay. Obviously, I didn't put any washers or none of that stuff on it because that's coming back out. And all that stuff's getting replaced. But for now, I think we can get the, I think we can shove the spring and everything back in it. And then swap those bolts out whenever they come in. I think. Or I'll have to take it all back apart. We'll see. Reckon this goes here. unfortunately, I think I might have to compress that. I'm not sure you guys can see, but this is the, you know, garden variety Harbor Freight spring compressor. I actually think this came from an auto parts store many years ago. They suck. Nobody has fun using a spring compressor. Not anyone that I'm aware of, at least. I don't even know how to use it properly. I don't even know if it's gonna work because of the way these are designed. So that's good. We're gonna try. What do we gotta do here? Somebody who's done this before is probably watching the screen like, what an idiot. You're right. Let's take this out of the equation for a moment. Okay. Where's mine? Here we go. Obviously you guys can tell I don't have a clue what I'm doing, but I do know that there is a spot for the end of the spring, the index on there. So you want to make sure they're both in that spot so that you don't end up with one side sitting higher than the other. Done that before. Oh. This ain't looking good. This spring's gonna have to compress a lot more. Well, you guys missed a good part because the GoPro died right as I was about to get it, of course. So this is all in place now. The spring compressor is still in there. I gotta get that out. Hopefully it comes out okay. Yeah, so I had to find the right length of compressing this without these threads sticking out too far and hitting this plate that's right here. But I had to compress it enough that I could get this plate in here, and then I had to use my big pry bar and pry it up in place. Obviously, I'm gonna assume that's not the right way to do it, but I will also tell you it got the job done. So basically where we're at is nowhere. You saw all this get bolted in. I gotta snug this down. I can't put the bottom. Oh, that's trying to fall out of there. Perfect. I can't put these bolts in, obviously, because I'm waiting on them to come in. I should have them in like a half hour, 45 minutes or so. I gotta, once I get the spring compressor in, or out, I should say, I'll come up here. I showed this in another video, I think. The shock will actually go down through here. This goes on there. It all bolts together with these really crappy stud things that seem to always spin where they're not supposed to. Anyway, all that stuff's pretty straightforward. Just kick over my expensive tools, that's fine. So yeah, there's not, basically, I don't know how this video is going. Probably pretty poorly, as they usually do. But there's not a whole lot to this. It's kind of just R&R, you know, with a little bit of lubrication. Yeah, I'm just gonna get this all thrown back together. I know there's not a lot of substance here, but now I can get a list together and try to start ordering parts, which was my main thing. I need to know what all was bad. So we know ball joints, inner and outer tie rods, idler arm, pitman arm, probably. Might as well if we're there. And all that adds up to money I don't have. So we're gonna do our best and see if we don't end the day with something better than we started with. So see you in a little bit. I'm back. That's pretty much all together. Got the shocks back in. This side, you know, you guys pretty much saw how that looks. I just got back from the store picking up the bolts for the lower control arms. This, if it will focus, is it focusing? I can't tell. Definitely not gonna focus on that one. Anyway, 68243A is the part number for a Moog bolt, and I matched it up. It's maybe a 1/8 inch shorter. I'm not really sure why that is, but other than that, everything looks exactly the same. So if you have a CPP Mini Subframe kit and you need new eccentric alignment bolts, there's a part number for you. I don't know if you can see how that looks there, but as it's done every day for the last 3 months, it's getting ready to storm. So I'm gonna throw those in real quick. Nothing too exciting to see there. Okay, God, I hear you. Okay, you don't gotta make so much noise. I know you're there. Anyway, I'm gonna get that thrown together. I think I'll show you where I set it up for the initial setup. I marked the old bolts on where they were because I was gonna try and get close that way, but I think we're just gonna start from scratch, which means I'm gonna spend the next 3 or 4 hours fighting with trying to get the alignment right. Yeah, so I'm gonna get those thrown in and see if we can't start trying to get alignment. Ooh, update time. I've been working because the storm seems to be circling me, and at any moment I know it's just gonna cut loose and I'll be soaking wet. So here's let me grab I got a light somewhere. Hang on, we're going on a venture. Okay, here is, I got the wheel back on. Here's the rough set up I have on the, here's the alignment bolt. For the moment, I don't know if you guys can see the back one. For the moment, I'm kicking the lower control arm as far out as it will go on both sides, and I'm pretty confident from previous experience that that's not going to work, but I need a starting point, and that's going to be it. So I kind of got everything put back together to the point where I'm going to set it on the ground and kind of drive it back and forth a little bit, and then start checking stuff. And I will show you guys what I'm checking as I'm doing it, but don't take any of it as advice, because I don't know what I'm doing, other than I kind of know the numbers it needs to be, I just don't have the equipment or the knowledge to get it there. So I'm gonna do the best I can, and hopefully, I think I've got, as long as this storm doesn't wash me out, I got about 2 hours that I can spend trying to get the alignment figured out. So hopefully we can make something happen here, because it'll make it a whole lot more fun to drive this thing. So hang on. I thought I was recording and I wasn't, so that's fun. I did the thing, moved it back and forth. It's gonna be hard to show up on camera, but you can kind of see right now that wheel's pointed out at the front, and it's got camber in, and this wheel has got a lot of toe out, which would be the front of the wheel is sticking out, and it appears to be cambered in also. So again, I don't want you to take, oh, can you see my face? I don't want to take, that was loud. Don't take anything I'm doing here as you know, what you should be doing. But the only way I have figured out to possibly check the camber is I put a level on this wheel on, and it's got a magnet on it, but it's sitting basically flat. It might not be perfect, but it's gonna get us a good idea. And then now you could try and go off the bubble. I have been sticking my little angle finder on here, which actually shows us being pretty good. 0.1 degree I think I can live with. Let's see how we look on this side. Clean all the junk off of there. See, this side we've got some camber issues. So that's, hopefully you guys can see, that's 2.3 out. Well, it's gonna be easier to show with the bubble. You see, if I pull the top out, the bubble goes to the middle, so the bottom of the wheel needs to go in. So or the top of the wheel needs to go out. You could do it with shims in the upper control arm. I'm gonna try and just do it with those bolts at the bottom. So I'm going to actually, the rear bolt, I'm going to pull the rear of the control arm in towards the middle of the car, which will do two things. It'll help get rid of the toe out, and hopefully help get rid of our camber issue. This side, I might go ahead and make a toe adjustment on the steering tie rod, and then we'll have to set it down and do the whole thing over again. So it's just going to be a bunch of that for the next little while. And I guess maybe I'll time lapse all that and then show you guys where I end up, hopefully. I should mention, to check toe in and toe out, I just use a tape measure across the front and back of the tires. It's the best way you can do it at home. I usually go from the from, well, let me see if I can show you. I usually go from the edge of this tread right here where I can hook my tape measure to the same spot on the other side, and then I go front and back of the tire. And what you really want is an 1/8 inch of toe in. 0 to an 1/8 inch of toe in is what I've been told. So yeah, as I remembered I didn't mention that, so just thought I'd throw it in there. And I gotta get to work, see if I can't get this figured out. Well, went for a little test drive. I didn't make it very far. I wasn't even gonna video this because I was just gonna take it around the block and come back and check everything again. But yeah, it turns out if you don't tighten the control arms, they flop over when you turn, and you nearly lose steering and almost run over your own tires. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I jammed it in reverse, and it kind of popped back to pretty close to where I think it needs to be. But now we're doing a roadside alignment, because you know that's the best place to do it, right? It appears you guys won't be able to see nothing, but it looks like this back one I did not properly tighten, I guess. Seeing as how I can still move it. I'm trying to remember exactly where I had it. Which is easier said than done. I almost checked these before I left, and then I thought, nah, you tightened them. I did not, in fact, tighten it. So now, basically gonna be back at square one, I would guess. Which is unfortunate. Hopefully we don't get run over. Not really in the best spot to be doing an alignment. Okay. Better check. Oh, don't fall over. I guess we better check this other side before we drive off. This isn't the best time to point it out, but you should always tighten these. You should always tighten your suspension components under load of the vehicle, because if not, you'll tear your bushings up. Boy, I did not do a good job here. Okay. The really bad news, it's not that laying in the street almost getting run over. It's that it was actually driving way better than it was before already. And now we're, you know, back to guessing. I think we're pretty close though. Let's see, let's throw this level on the I don't really like videoing in public, but I've kind of got myself in a predicament here. At least we didn't make it any further, because it would have just made it more difficult. think we're gonna take that. See if we can't get back to the carport. I should have brought those tools with me. But yeah, you know, you always think you're better than you are, I guess. I don't have anywhere to put you guys. Because, like I said, I wasn't really intending on filming. Good news is this little motor's running pretty good. So, see what happens now. Feels like the steering wheel's off a little. Don't mind that. The steering wheel's off a little bit for sure. But it's not pulling necessarily, even under braking. And unfortunately, the issues I found with the steering is gonna make it not drive very good. It is not pulling though. It's gonna drive me nuts if the steering wheel is crooked. I don't know if you guys can hear that tinging sound. I don't know what it is, but it's driving me nuts. I thought I would find something in the front end, but I haven't yet. Oh, camera down. Overall, we definitely made improvements. Oh, where are you guys looking? Yeah, we're definitely headed in the right direction. I don't know if you noticed, probably didn't, but there was no clunks. I don't know if that's from greasing the ball joints and all the bushings and all that stuff, that it's not bound up anymore. I can tell you from pushing on the front end, it bounces back a lot better. So I think we did a lot of good there. And the alignment's better. Unfortunately, that's about the resting place of the steering wheel right now. So that's gonna drive me nuts. But instead of fixing that now, I want to start saving up and getting all those steering components coming. That way we can just kind of do it all at once. Because right now, I'm going to double check the measurements and everything, but she drives pretty good. I have a feeling we might be a little off on the toe adjustment, because it's a little wandery, but yeah, I'm going to go over everything, and honestly, I don't know how much more there is to video. It looks like we're, I don't know, we might be pretty good. Let me check some stuff. And now that I'm not sitting on the side of the road or walking and sweating my butt off, I'm gonna check a couple things, and yeah, honestly, I think the video might be over. So if you watched, thank you. I'm just gonna check some measurements, the same stuff you see me do, and yeah, maybe drive this hot rod. So thanks for stopping by, and get out there, work on your junk, and have some fun, because that's what this is all about, right? See ya.